Hello and welcome. Try to make this a quick, short, sweet video. But a couple of things. My electric motor just came in, so I got that, and that will be going in my truck today. But for all those that want to see how I mounted my servo into the chassis, there we go. Alright. There it is. Now, I did not come up with the mounting of where to mount it. That actually was I've seen two other videos. One really did not show how he mounted it in. Kind of upset about that because I was wanting to know how he did it. The other one was a guy with an FTX Outback. Now, I did see he did a great job showing close-ups with his camera in his video and showed that he had mounted his servo to his front bumper's mount. Which, as you can see, it does fit very nicely. It's not a perfect fit. These holes are a little bit narrower than your mount screws, but it worked, and due to the height of my truck being raised all the way up, I have a lot of work to deal with that much clearance from my axle's steering knuckle, going all the way up to the chassis. But as you know, my truck was starting to roll because of the weight, so I limited half of my flex. Brought me back to closer to stock, not really, but still fairly close. So I was trying to do this again and throw this in here. The big problem I ran into was the steering arm is way too short for you to try to mount it in the chassis, and for this shock to start compressing, it will start turning your truck to the point where the tire is going to turn, max the turn, especially when I had no limits on my front end and was just crazy flexing. It would max the turn way before the shock got to a compression, and that was no good. Could not have that. Went and looked at videos of trucks that actually had servos mounted in the chassis. First thing I noticed is there was more to their steering than what's to this steering. They usually have another arm coming off over here with another control arm coming down and grabbing onto the steering knuckle somewhere. I don't really know how, because no one really showed a very good video of how that mechanism worked. So I scrubbed that whole idea when I came across a couple of cheaper servo mounted trucks, or not cheaper, but just different mounted chassis servos. And all they were using was a really long control arm and mounting the servo far off on this side of the chassis, so that way when it goes up, it does turn a little, but it's not as bad. Now, I threw a bend in my bar just due to the fact that I have a lot of suspension still in the front, as you can see. Well, I'll show you some other time, but I have a lot, and so my truck will turn. It doesn't max the turn at max flex, so ta-da! I'm able to do the next part, which is, when it is like that, the problem you'll run into is when this is flexed, you'll be turning, and if you have it set correctly to where when it's flat, you're not oversteering in either direction, you will not be able, I don't have full left turn on the rocks. So the simple fix was, I know people are going to you're going to burn your servo out, but when you find out what this servo is and what I've been doing with this truck, your jaws will probably drop and you'll realize I can drive my RCs. But I turned my steering way up. It's now at just over 6 when I was just at the 3rd notch. I was just over the 3rd notch for full steer. Now I'm just over the 5th notch to have full steer at a full compression on my truck in both directions. I just have to remember the right side, I don't have to turn as much. Left can only turn all the way when I'm on the rocks. And one more thing I did. My ECU sits almost in the chassis of my truck now, because I took and I flipped the electronics mount, or the electronics plate. I took it I actually took it, flipped it upside down so I still have the flat surface, and I screwed it into the bottom part of my bar, and I flipped all my bars back to the right way. Just in case you were wondering, I did flip all my bars back to the correct direction, just to get everything sitting lower in my chassis again, give a better center of gravity, especially with these body mounts back here. But as now you can see, I put a piece of Velcro, just put it on the back side, waited for it to dry, Velcroed it in. It sits very nice. It's nice and low. It's not a whole lot of weight. But as you can see, those are the changes. And thank you for watching.